morning, everybody. It's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm, and it's going to be a glorious day today. If you saw Jason's video, you know that we have undertaken a new project, and that is the potager garden that's in our backyard. But this area was somewhere that I felt was almost like a focal point of the farm. When you drive down our driveway, you see my mama's house, you see the screened-in porch on the side, but this was just a wide open space in between here and the pond that's back behind me. So Jason and I decided that we would fence in this area right here, utilize the fence that we already have around the pond, and put two beautiful iron gates that I was able to find on Facebook Marketplace at a phenomenal deal right here. My mama can plant more roses than she already has. She has a new dawn rose growing right here on the side of the house, but she'll get to enjoy this area for her own as a planting space, and I think it's going to be great. It did take us a little bit more time than what we're used to with fencing, because we basically put up a regular field fence, and then we came back and we put 2x6 fence boards on it to add to the aesthetics of it. All right, Dee Dee, what do you think about it? You think it's gonna be a good? She's on a mission. She must have smelled an egg or something. So my video is not a repeat of Jason's about this fence. I just wanted to point it out since I'm headed past the fence area down to where Mr. Nugget and Miss Goldie reside. I got a little something that I want to share with you guys, and I really need some feedback. So Goldie's only been with us right at a year. I think October the 22nd of last year was when we rehomed Goldie. So Goldie lost her mate, Pepita, in a tragic way. And she was used to not being a lone emu. So Miss Kathy and Mr. Stan, our friends over at JK Farm, reached out to us and asked us if we could possibly take Goldie to live at our house. And our initial thought was, Nugget's not going to like this. Nugget's used to being all alone, and he is not going to like this. And that's the whole reason we never added a friend for Nugget. It's because we felt like he was attached to us as his friends and did not need another of his kind, or maybe, you know, he would be disappointed. So this was a situation where if it did not work out, Miss Kathy and Mr. Stan understood and said that we could find another home for her, or they could find another home for her. So why not give it a try, right? So at first, Nugget and Goldie didn't bond with each other. They tolerated each other, but there was no sense of, I can't live without you. Over the past year, there's been a change in that. And that change, I would say, is I can't live without you, because you're not going to see Nugget without Goldie, nor will you see Goldie without Nugget. So my story is not about the fact that Nugget and Goldie now get along. If you recall, back during the latter part of the spring, I don't even remember what the month was, Goldie laid 17 eggs. And Nugget sat for a good long time, so much so that we took it upon ourselves to see if the eggs were fertile, because there started to become a smell coming from the eggs, and we had a good indication that the eggs may not be fertile. And we certainly did not want him to sit for the entire 60 days and there not be any kind of positive outcome. Because obviously if he was sitting, he wants some children. Or, I don't know what you call baby emus. We're going to call them children. They're not children though. They're Nugget's children. Here we are in the month of October, and Goldie is showing the same signs that she did when she laid her first clutch of eggs here. Y'all, she paces up and down the fence row. She's just about worn a hole in the grass where she paces on the opposite side of the pond, which is where she laid last time. I've been thinking this for a couple of weeks now. I even talked about it on our live, that Goldie's showing characteristics the same that she did when she laid her first clutch of eggs. Now let me go back to 2 years previous. Goldie laid a second clutch of eggs at her previous farm in the fall. She laid one in the spring or summer, early summer, and then she laid a second clutch in the fall. And none of them hatched. None of the eggs, she never had any, Pepita did not sit on the eggs, so none of them hatched. Well, here we are in the fall again, which we know in the past Goldie's laid a clutch of eggs in the fall. And every morning, I hope y'all can hear me because the geese have decided they need to talk. Every morning, the first thing I do is to walk around the property and look for Goldie eggs. And she's usually over there already. Not the case this morning. When she laid last time, first time, only time, here, she did it in the late afternoon. It was approaching sunset when she actually laid her egg. But in the morning is when she acts really odd. So, you know, I know what her behavior was last time because obviously she did it for 34 days. She laid 17 eggs every other day. So that was 34 eggs, 34 days worth of behavior that I got used to seeing. I just saw her excrete some feces. And here's something else I've noticed. Step out of the way, buddy. Let me see if I can find it. I saw her do it, but I didn't like keep in my mind where it happened because I really wasn't planning on showing this. But if it's as conclusive as it was last time, I really want to show y'all. Well, I can't find it. But here's what I was going to say, is when she laid previously this year, I had somebody reach out to me and they said, when her poop is very green, like the color of an emu egg, she's about to lay. So yesterday, I saw her go and I looked at it, and y'all, it was that color. It was that green color that she does not normally do. Now, Nugget and Goldie both get emu ratite is what they're classified as. Food specifically designed for them, but literally the color of her poop changes when she's laying. So I haven't done my walkthrough this morning. I haven't done my walkthrough on the other side of the pond, and I don't know that she would even lay in the same area she did last time. But my gut tells me, since she's pacing up and down that side of the fence, that that's where she plans to lay. Now, I told y'all I needed your help, and I do, and here's why. We're at October the 1st. Well, we're actually at October the 2nd. So, if she lays 17 eggs, that's going to take 34 days. We're going to be into like the 3rd of November. If that pans out, just say exactly the way it did last time. So Nugget would start sitting on the 3rd of November. So that means he would sit through the month of November and he would sit through the month of December. And these little baby golden nuggets would be born potentially around the 1st of the year. Now, Alabama temperatures are not too terribly cold. But they're too cold for a baby. They're too cold for anything new to be out running around without a sweater on and go through the whole month of January, the whole month of February, the whole month of March potentially with cool temperatures. So Jason says we're not letting him sit. Well, I agree with not letting him sit because it wouldn't be a hindrance to his health. It doesn't get that cold. I mean, they're fine. They have a shelter. But if she lays, she's probably not going to lay in an area where there's a shelter. So that means he's going to sit through the wind. He's going to sit through the rain. Probably not going to have any snow. But if we did, he'd sit through the snow. And he's not going to get up. So, while all that's being said, I'm looking on the ground. I apologize. Oh, here. This is Nugget's. Y'all really want to see this, don't you? This is Nugget's stuff. Okay, this is not something I would show unless I felt it was important. It is not the color of an emu egg. That is very brown in color with a hint of green. But what I saw come out of Goldie yesterday was green. It was green. So y'all, I know it's coming. I don't know if I'm going to find an egg today, but I know she's getting ready. And I know we're going to have a dilemma on our hands as to what are we going to do. What are we going to do? I mean, do we pull them as she lays them? Do we incubate them? I just don't know. I do not know. So let me show y'all. This is where she laid last time. This is the area that she laid, and you can see there's nothing there. Now, they don't build a nest, so to speak. They did pile up a few leaves and made a soft spot for the egg to sit, but it was not like it was a nest. I got lucky last time because I knew her behavior was different. And so I did just what I'm doing now. I got to walking around and I got to looking, and lo and behold, one day there was a big green gigantic egg. Can y'all hear them? I don't know if you can hear them or not, but Goldie has been drumming. She's drumming right now. She has been drumming to beat the band, so to speak. And Mr. Nugget has been doing a lot of what sounds like a grown man's belch. Y'all look at Goldie. I want her to strut for you. You gonna show them how you strut, Goldie? Show them how you do it, girl. You hear something strange? They are such curious creatures. Anything that they hear. Y'all see how she's walking? I mean, this is exactly her behavior when she laid last time. She bowed her chest out and she looks so proud and so she's just strutting. Gonna drum for us, girl? Nugget's cleaning shoes. I wish she'd do it loud because she can really do it. Watch her chest when she... Can y'all see her moving? I mean, it's just... Here's Nugget. He's waiting on his loving. He's not worried about Goldie showing out. Are you, baby? You're not worried about Goldie. You just want your shoe time. All right, here you go. Little shoe time for Nug. So I need y'all to tell me, I need y'all to tell me what you think I should do. And this is all if she lays. I know I'm counting my emus before they hatch. Do I gather them one by one when she starts laying? Do I let her lay the amount that she's going to lay and then gather them? Or do I let Nugget sit? Do I let Nugget endure many hours to become a papa? Or let him wait until next spring when I'm certain that the conditions would be better? I mean, 60 days is a long time. And like I said, Jason's mind is just about made up, that he thinks that it's best if Nugget doesn't sit. And I wouldn't go against his will by all means, but I also want to make the right decision. I want to do what's best for them. So say I do gather, say she does lay 17 eggs and I gather them and I incubate them and all 17 hatch. I can't reintroduce those babies back to Nugget and Goldie. They're probably going to think they're intruders and not accept them, because that's what they do with new ducks or new geese that come. They have to go through their initiation process and prove that they're welcome here before they are actually okay. There I was just a-talking, and she decided she was going to drum really, really loud. So I've walked this whole hillside, as I do every day. I mean, there's a lot of places that she could lay. There's a lot of area. So I don't want him to definitely start sitting without me knowing there's eggs there. I need to make a decision before it happens. This is a just in case kind of thing. When Goldie's behavior started changing, I started noticing them on the dam a lot. And that's where I am right now. I'm on the dam side of the pond. And that's just somewhere that they don't frequent. But when her behavior started changing, it was almost as if she was scoping out the whole area. She was scoping out the whole property, the whole area that she has access to decide where the best place for her to lay this egg might be. Or, I didn't just say this egg, these eggs would be. And, you know, there's no telltale sign of any continuous walking going on over here. It's all been on that other side of the property. I'm gonna get my mind off this egg situation for a minute. Oops, I see some poop. This is old poop. This is Goldie's poop, and it's probably from earlier today. But I want to show it to you because you can see how green it is. That is entirely different than Nuggets. I'm telling y'all, she's close, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna get my mind off of it. I'm gonna go in my kitchen, and we're gonna get something to put in the freeze dryer today. And we're gonna take our mind off of this. But I don't want y'all to take your mind off of it. I want y'all to think this through. And I want you to really let me know what you honestly think should be done when these eggs come out. Well, we're in my kitchen, and I'm not gonna mention emu eggs anymore today. I'm just gonna let it go, and we're gonna work on freeze drying some chickpeas. This is something that I've thought about for some time, but I couldn't figure out how exactly I was gonna make it work. And that is freeze-dried chickpeas. So hummus, that's the way we pronounce it. Some people say it differently, but hummus is a blend of chickpeas, lemon juice, tahini paste, cumin, paprika, whatever you like can go into making hummus. Garlic. But we're not going to make hummus. We're going to freeze dry the chickpeas in their original state. So I'm going to wash them, And then I'm going to add some olive oil. I'm going to add some paprika, some cumin, and then kind of give it a taste and see if there's anything else that I think needs to go in there before I freeze dry the chickpeas. I'm thinking this is going to make an excellent on-the-go snack that I can just stick in a baggie and take with me. Won't have to worry about, you know, being hungry and needing to stop for something that's not necessarily healthy. Now, some of you may wonder why I'm using canned chickpeas. Of course, I could use ones that are already dried and then boil them, but I really want this to be an experiment. I really want to try canned chickpeas because, first of all, it'll be easy, and second of all, I want to know how it's going to turn out, so if I do make another batch, then I'll know what I want to do differently. And that if that's take the time to boil the peas versus letting them be in their state that they come in a can, which is of course processed, but it's still better for you than a lot of things out there. So healthy snack, hopefully, and let's get started. So as with most any kind of canned bean, you do want to rinse it and drain it. So you're not using the water that it was packed in for your base. They're going to be rinsed, they're going to be clean. I mean, not that they're not clean already, but just to get that packing out of there. And I'm not even sure how many it's going to take. I picked up 10 cans, but I'm going to probably do these in batches of about 5 cans at a time and then put them on my tray so that way I can see about how much room I have and what I need to do differently. All right. In goes can number 1. All right, got my bowl of chickpeas here. They're washed and ready to add ingredients. Now, I'm not going to measure anything. This is just going to be for us to eat around the house. So, you know, it's just kind of a personal preference. All right, some olive oil. Go ahead and get that stirred around. I'm not going to add any extra salt because it seems like, in my experience, when I freeze dry things, it really does bring out the sodium in whatever you're freeze drying. So extra salt I am not going to do. Now, there's a little paprika. And cumin. And you could add whatever you desire. This is just some ingredients that Jason and I both like. Mary Carl does too, so I think that this will be something that we will all enjoy. Now, if this works out, I may go through the steps of making actual hummus and freeze drying it to reconstitute. But I'm not planning on reconstituting these. I'm planning on eating them in their original state. All right, so I'm going to give this a try and see what I think it needs more of. Hopefully not less of, but if it does, I'll just add another can of peas. That's really good. So I would say about a tablespoon of each paprika and cumin, and you can adjust that to your liking. So I really don't want these touching. I really want them to kind of space out so they can get dry, because when something touches, air doesn't circulate. So I was 1 can short, and I decided to do something a little bit different with that extra can, and that is to just leave them plain. I want to know what they are like in their original state, freeze-dried. If that's, you know, adding oil is something that you normally don't do when you freeze-dry something, because they say that oil doesn't freeze dry, but this was very little oil, and it was just enough to get the ingredients to stick to the chickpeas. So the last batch is going to be absolutely plain. I'll be willing to bet not too many people have used their electric tricycle to take chickpeas to be freeze-dried, but that's what we're about to do if I can get Mr. Bandit to not eat them first. I've got lids on them, and they are in my basket, and I'm ready to go freeze dry. Okay, the freeze dryer is ready, and we are about to pop these chickpeas in. hope it's something that we like. I really do. I mean, I hope everything that I do is something we like. So it's going. Not sure how long it's going to take. I'm anticipating probably 24 hours, maybe even a little bit more. But anyway, we will check on these. It'll be tomorrow before they're ready for sure. And Jason will be with me, and we'll give these freeze-dried chickpeas a taste and see what we think. All right, y'all, it's the next day, and I think my chickpeas are ready. I'm gonna go grab Jason and take him to the barn and see if we can give this a try and see if it's something we like or something we'll do again, or if it's just eh. But I wanted to say, I think my hummingbirds have just about all left. I've maybe seen 2 today, but nothing like the numbers that we were having. They've just decided to go south, and I'm appreciating that because I think that probably means cooler weather's coming. You know, they're pretty smart. They know more than we do about how long the heat's gonna stay and whatnot. So I'm thinking this is the indication that cooler weather's coming. All right, Jason.
Yep.
So I freeze-dried chickpeas. And I added some cumin, some olive oil, and some paprika to some. And there was one tray that I left plain. But you know what I gotta do. I gotta let you be the taste. Alright, so well, I better show it. This is what they look like.
Which one's that?
With the seasoning on them.
Can I try it?
Yes! Please do. Come over so they can see your face. What do you think?
The texture is different than I anticipated.
It's very squishy, isn't it? And not hard at all. But you know what it tastes like to me? A nut. It's got a nutty taste.
You know what it tastes like to me?
What?
Hummus.
Yep, it does. It tastes like hummus in little balls, doesn't it?
It's good. The outside's crunchy. The inside's almost like a dry cake.
I like it.
Almost like a cracker.
Alright, but I got a tray that I didn't put any seasoning on.
Right.
So I want to know.
That's good.
Ooh,
Oh, you can
look
tell
at the difference. These are just very white in color versus the ones that have the seasoning. I don't like those.
Oh, they're plain. The other ones are wetter.
I mean, these are edible.
And you could tinker around with seasonings.
You can make them as spicy or as bold as you wanted to.
That'd be good to eat, watch ball game with.
Do you think? I better get my freeze dryer going again. Well, I've got about 4 cans left because I only used 6 cans to do 5 trays. So that gives anybody an idea that wants to freeze dry them how many cans it takes to do a tray.
I got you.
But yes, I think this is definitely better than yogurt.
Oh, yeah.
Better than yogurt, and something we'll continue to do.
That yogurt was terrible. This is good.
All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video about... I told you I wasn't saying it anymore, so I'm not saying what the video was about.
Like Beetlejuice. Can't say the name 3 times.
You can't say it 1 time.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to think about it
Okay.
anymore. But the freeze-dried chickpeas were definitely for the win. So, y'all don't forget to comment what I talked about earlier. Let me know what you think and what the solution should be. And y'all be good.